ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡೋಕೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡೋಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಕೊಡಬಿಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಯಾವ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟು ಅಕ್ವಾಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ
ನಮ್ಮದು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಇದೆ.
ಓಕೆ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಓಕೆ
ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವರು ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟೀಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್
Okay.
ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್
ಓಕೆ
ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟೀಸ್
ಓಕೆ
ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಪಿ ಜಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್
ಓಕೆ
ವಿ ಎಲ್ ಎಸ್ ಐ ಮತ್ತು
ಅಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನಿಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು ಐ ಸಿ ಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡೋಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಆಯಿತಾ ಸೊ ಐ ಸಿ ಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಾನು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಅಬೌಟ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಫಿಶರೀಸ್ ದೆನ್ ಅಕ್ವಾಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮೊದಲು ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಈಗ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅಕ್ವಾಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈಗ ಈ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಶಾಲ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಇನಾಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಫಿಶ್ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಫಿಶ್ ತಿಂತ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ನೋಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಯಾವ ಫಿಶ್ ತಿಂತೀರಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ನೀವು ಹಿಡಿತೀರಾ ಗೊತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಹೋಟ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ತಂದರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಹೋಟ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಫಿಶ್ ಯಾವ ಫಿಶ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಹೌದು ಅಂತೀರಲ್ವಾ ಹಾಂ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಓಕೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಸಾರಿ ಓಕೆ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಫಿಶ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಲಿಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಒಂದು ಫಿಶ್ ಈಗ ಈ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಯಾರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಈಗ ಯಾರು ಚಿಕನ್ ಮಟನ್ ತಿನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಫಿಶ್ ತಿನ್ನಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರು ಫಿಶ್ ಬೆಳೆಯೋರು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರಾ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಿ ಇದು ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ವೈಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಹೈ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಲೋ ಕೊಲೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಕೊಲೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅದು ಗುಡ್ ಕೊಲೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಲ್ ಈ ಕೊಲೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಲ್ ಅದು ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಕೊಲೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಲ್ ಗುಡ್ ಕೊಲೆಸ್ಟ್ರಾಲ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನಲಿ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಗಟ್ ವೆರಿ rich in nutrients, especially protein, especially quality protein, and especially with omega-6 fatty acids. It is not found in any other meat except in fish, especially more in marine fish than the inland fish. And easily, even after ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಚಿಕನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ತಿಂದರೆ ಹೀಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಹೀಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಅದೇ ಫಿಶ್ ತಿಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟಬಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಗ್ರೋನ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಎರಡಿದೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ವಿಟಮಿನ್ ಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ವಿಟಮಿನ್ ಎ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ರಿಚ್ ಇನ್ ಫಿಶ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಮಾಂಗ್ ವಿಟಮಿನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಜಿಂಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ very essential for body, which are present in fish, not in other meats. Okay, this is the, it provides you nutrition food and a healthy food. Is called, now it's called a superfood because it contains whatever the requirements of the body present in this fish array. Hagagi, the demand is more now. Next is livelihood. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಫಿಶರೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಫಿಶರೀಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಕ್ವಾಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ you may not believe more than 4,000 villages are depending on that, and the millions of farmers, fishermen and farmers are depending on the livelihood for this, and it provides you employment opportunities. Either self-employment ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಗ ತಾವು ಸ್ವಂತ ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟೇ ಈಗ self-employment ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾಂಡೆಡ್ ರೈಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಬ್ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರೀಸು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಬಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೂ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದೆನ್ ಫಿಶ್ ಫಾರ್ ರಿಕ್ರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಕ್ವೇರಿಯಂ ಫಿಶ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ? And there are and hundreds of varieties. What you find right from the small guppy, platy, goldfish, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಈಗ ಅರೋವನ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಫಿಶ್ 5,000, 10,000 ಅಪ್ ಟು ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಡಿಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ. ಬಟ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ನು ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಭಾರಿ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಸೊ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಕಾಮನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ವಾಟ್ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಯು entertainment also, at least to the new. When you watch an aquarium, probably you feel more peaceful than watching a TV, because the fish won't talk, no? So there is no noise. You can just watch fish how they move, and that gives you, take away from all your pressures. That's why they used to say keep an aquarium there. But aquarium itmele adu maintain ಮಾಡೋದು ಇದೆ, ಬರೀ ಇದು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So I had an aquarium for 17 years, then I disposed it off. South one. Okay, then aquatourism, like you know, ecotourism, agri-tourism and aquatourism, they have got a good opportunity for aquatourism. And fish for wealth, I said, they export, and probably I think country is exporting mainly shrimp and shrimp products, less freshwater. Freshwater also is going for export market, but it's more of shrimp and shrimp products. So I think, I don't know the exact figure, I said 1,70,000 crores something value been export and contributing to the national economy. So these are some of the benefits of fish, why we should grow fish, or we should know, before you do anything, you should know something about what should we do. ಈಗ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾಕೆ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ರಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಬೇರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಿ. ಅದೇ ಥರನೇ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆರೈಟೀಸ್ ಫಿಶ್ ಆದ್ರೆ, ವೆದರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ಫುಡ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಶ್ರಿಂಪ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರಿಂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಡೊಮೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ 10 to 12% because of the high cost of production, and people intend to export more because they get more money than selling in the domestic market. But domestic market alli mainly fish, freshwater fish, marine fish ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೆಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಫಿಶ್ ನಮಗೆ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ ಹೊರತು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಫ್ರೋಸನ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as a ವೆಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ಗೆ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಅದರ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಫಾರ್ is an economic activity also. Okay, this is just some more detail whatever the fish contains. You can just go through the slide. I will not go into the details of it. You can just go through it. See in what way our fish is helpful to our body in terms of not only for protein, how we can improve overall the body. Right from your healthy brain, stronger muscles, healthy bones and teeth, because we have explained what are the reasons for that. And healthy skin is that omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid enhances the and also for immunity booster. And this is just it gives you, if you eat 100 grams of fish, this all the benefits you are going to get, like 40% protein, 12% potassium, 9% iron. And so these are all the nutrients you get of eating a fish, but you don't get anything in any other meats. This is a white meat, as I told you earlier, easy to digest. Okay. Now this is off late. I told you there is a World Fish Organization in their headquarters in Malaysia. They have been doing the research on the nutritive value of this fish at different stages of growth, like a child, adult, then the infants. So after doing, I think this is the outcome of research, because I was consulted to them for their project in Orissa. So that time we used to visit something, used to give it to Anganwadis. What they say is first 1,000 days is very crucial in the development of the child, right from the brain stage. Right nutrient of 1,000 days between a woman's pregnancy and a child's second birthday, that is 1,000 days. builds the foundation for a child's ability to grow, learn and thrive. How does the fish will help in? So they are given this, see, the impact of good nutrition early in life. And this slide has become very popular, it is being presented all over the world. Irrespective of where they are there, human being is same. The race may be different, color may be different, but what they require is the same. Okay. So they say about 10% more likely to overcome the most life-threatening childhood diseases if you eat this. And impact of 4% more grades for the schools. I mean, they will be more active, they will be better than other students. Now, this is done after a survey, not just the figures. This is after a detailed survey conducted in many countries, not only in India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and this have been promoting now all over the world. And the scientist who was working on this, especially this nutritional left a small, we call indigenous species, SIS, and because that's a whole fish, she got prize called World Food Prize, equivalent to Nobel Prize in the food sector. One lady called Shakuntala. So I had met her many occasions. So she was a very supporter of that. And now in Orissa and West Bengal, West and Assam, now what they are giving this, they are growing this small cylinder and they make the powder, convert into powder and incorporate the midday meal in the schools, especially for in the primary schools. And they give it in the hospitals for the pregnant women. It's becoming quite popular and they're showing the results. So these are the very best benefits for the overall development of the brain and the human being. Okay, and we are talking about fish. Where do we get all this fish? So I am just only concentrating the Indian resources. I am not going into detail the global. And we have two types of resources. One is called marine resources, and another one is inland resources. The water resources means we say these are with potential, with a good number of biodiversity species already there in rivers, reservoirs, and with the biodiversity. So in case of marine, as I told you that we have about 9 maritime states from Kerala to Gujarat on the west coast and Tamil Nadu to West Bengal on the east coast. Compared to east coast, west coast is more productive because of the nature, because the nature of the coast itself. Because these coasts are very high productive because of the rivers they receive on the west coast. They carry a lot of nutrients and they provide a nursing ground for the fish who breed there, and they are more productive. And it's not a steep coast, whereas in the eastern coast is steep, very steep and bit rocky also, is not productive. But still you find there are some of fishes available, and that way west coast is more productive. What you get fish from the Kerala to Gujarat is more than 60% comes from the west coast. Okay. And we have not only the coastline, we have about 2.2 million square kilometers of exclusive economic zone. That means exclusive economic zone is only to the country. No other country can enter into this area for fishing. Like when you block the airways, we cannot go, but no flights can enter to this. Similarly, we call it as exclusive, and we have a continental shelf where this is the area where you can fish with the productive area. Then number of, I told you, there are 4,400 landing centers, and on each there are more than 3,500 villages depending on their livelihood for their livelihood. Especially most of these villages are only on the coastal side, and their main job is any people, if you have visited any coastal place like Mangalore, Goa, then you can see fisheries activities here. They right from the wet market, they go for dried fish. Dried fish also is very good because it is mainly sun dried. So like you get more products. These are the sources from the marine side. And the inland side, we have reservoirs, man-made reservoirs like 3.15 million hectares of reservoirs. Area on the ponds and tanks, these are the village tanks and also individually owned tanks. And most of these are mainly for They don't do much of aquaculture here. Mainly, they take it on lease. There may be some people here. They take the tank on the lease, and they stock fish and harvesting. The fishing rights are handed over to the people who bid it. So they stock and work. There's not much of actual aquaculture activities there. Because aquaculture activity is nothing like synonymous to it. Then I'll come to that later. Okay. So these are the inland resources we have, to produce the fish. And this is just a trend, and this is a slightly old figure because I didn't get time to update it. I think now the total fish production in the country is around 17.3 million metric ton, and it's growing in an average of 6% annual growth rate. And if you see that marine fish is becoming almost there. See, this the blue one is a marine one. It's almost stagnant because of overfishing, and there are even the fish during the bad season, and also pollution, industrial pollution. To many reasons, the marine fish production is becoming stagnant, almost like the last 2 years. Only good thing is not going down, but it's remaining stagnant. But if you look at the inland fish production, see, it is every year is increasing. That it's not working. Okay, this is the 2021 figure, but latest figure is around 17.5 million metric tons, and out of which more than 60% comes from the freshwater side. Okay. This is the same thing in terms of a graphic. Okay. Now, I just gave you the overall, what are the resources we have, why should we, what are the benefits of eating or growing fish, then what are the sources, then we'll come down to aquaculture because I think I'll have to finish within 1 hour. Otherwise, no other person will come and sit here, so I don't want to do that. I'll try to finish it as early as possible. You know what is agriculture? Can anybody define what is agriculture? What is the general statement, agriculture? Forget about growing ragi or agriculture, what do you call it?
Growing something that is edible.
Okay, next. How do you, for a common man, how do you define agriculture?
Something which is reared on land.
Yeah, it's a cultivation of land. Okay. You may grow ragi, you may grow jawar, you may grow sugarcane, you may grow sericulture or plantation crops, coffee, tea, but in general, what we call is agriculture is called cultivation of land, and that is subdivided into depending on what you like: agriculture, horticulture, sericulture, forestry, plantation. So here they are subdivided depending on the cropping system. Why I am doing this in the similar way, aquaculture is. What is aquaculture? Aquaculture is nothing but cultivation of aquatic environment. That means whatever there in the system, aquatic, you grow them, is called aquaculture. So even in aquaculture, that's why you have got different, like that. We call carp culture, we can say catfish culture, we say prawn culture. So like what you have in agriculture, depending on the species, or a group of that, I'll come to that later. So, what you do in agriculture, you also use good seed, you prepare your land, sow it, prepare the land, apply manure, grow, and during the crop, you see that you don't get any disease, maintain that though no weeds are there, and harvest. So similarly, people what they think, aquaculture means just put some fish seed into the pond and harvest. That is not aquaculture. Okay. Here aquaculture also same thing. Right from your pond site selection for what should be your selection, where should be your pond site for pond construction. Many people have burnt their fingers, constructed the pond in the very hilly region. They cannot water irrigation will not be there because of the gravitation. Otherwise, they put in a very hilly station. There will be a lot of flooding. So, the aquaculture starts from your site selection, construction of pond, and pond preparation, selection of species, then stocking. So what we call it as a pre-stocking operations. Then the stocking operations is what type of species you want, because I cannot go into all the details in 1 hour. Okay, how do you select species? What species you want to select? Because there are some criteria for selecting a fish. For example, when you select a particular crop for, so you know why you are going there. Whether there is demand for that, or this is good for going for a commercial crop or a food crop. So you have particular objective during that. Similarly, here also, when selecting a fish for aquaculture, we should see certain criteria. Okay. So then the aquaculture means completely managed pond, right from the pond construction, pond selection, then manuring, what type of manure you should use, how much you should use, whether you can go only for natural form and organic or mixture of organic and chemical both. Then water quality management after stocking, then see what is the frequent checking of your fish, whether how it grows. Then only you can manipulate your feeding and management for any fish diseases. There will be some diseases to come. Then finally harvest. So this is a whole aquaculture is like agriculture. This is also, that's why I said synonymous to agriculture. We are not just leaving some fish into the pond and harvested again. So it says, that's what we call it has evolved from a traditional backyard farming to the science-based aquaculture. They're completely science-based. Okay. Okay. So we just, what is aquaculture? Why aquaculture means, see, these some of the reasons. I think what is the now, because there is an organization called Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. So they, that is a global company, which are all the countries are adhered to the guidelines. So as per the FAO, by 1950, about 9 billion population will be there. How to meet the protein requirement of that? So they say one answer is farm is, because you know that there is a land area of the coming down because of the urbanization. Now you are seeing many agricultural lands are converted into plots, especially around the cities, because they say that is more remunerative than growing food. But ultimately, as long as the human being on the land, food is a must. You can't eat your mobiles or you can't eat your computers. Somebody should grow food. So that will be there. But with the decrease, the increase on the pressure on the land, the water is getting more importance, how we can produce. Not that everybody wants to eat fish, but at least who can eat meat. The fish contributes almost 20% of the consumption to the total animal protein. So whoever, because there is a very diversity. Some people won't eat fish, some people eat. At least for people who take meat, fish is an important quality protein which can meet the requirements. So that's why they say the aquaculture is to be, now, as I told you already, natural resources are coming down because of many factors. So aquaculture is going to be a major contributing. Now itself it's contributing more than 52% of the total fish production. Okay, now with the background we come to what are the different systems we have. So this is based on the, because I am giving you basic, because most of you are very new to this, so I am just giving you about the basic about the aquaculture, not going to the detailed complete management of a pond. That is a later stage. Now what are the different type of aquaculture we have? We call it as a mariculture. Mariculture means the culture of this is mainly in the coastal waters. Coastal waters mainly through this cages, what do you call, okay. These cages are installed in the coast waters, and a suitable species, like that I told you. Before starting that, they should have a good species and the technology to grow that, but the seed supply of this particular species in time, and you should have the management technology for that. And also, you should, when you select a fish, that there's a good demand for that. Otherwise, you grow the fish, if there is no demand, what will you do with it? So, it is you have to look into that. That's why when you select a particular species for aquaculture, you have to look into different aspects. Okay. So then coming to brackish aquaculture, mainly now what you were talked of shrimp pot farming is mainly in the brackish water, coastal aquaculture, coastal areas, because they require salt content. I mean salinity. The minimum they require salinity for the growth. That's why most of the shrimp farming is done in the coastal areas. That you cannot do in the world. But there are some species of prawn where you can grow in the fresh water also, like called scampi, Macrobrachium rosenbergi. You can grow them in the fresh water. But there are inherent problems like breeding of that, seed availability, because shrimp is not a fish, actually it's a crustacean. So don't get confused. When we have a bony fish, like then we have a cartilaginous fish, for example shark is a cartilaginous fish. You have, for example whales, even though they are mammals, but they are included under fisheries. They are under 100% vegetarians, mammals. So generally, the different variety of fish are there. So they actually, these prawns are actually, they are not fish, belong to fish family. They are crustaceans. Their growth is by molding. Every 15 days once it comes out and the new skin will come out. It's called molding. So there are solutions. That is the brackish water shrimp farming, and it's very popular mainly because of it has got export market. And is highly risky also, and there are a lot of other issues also were there in the 90s. Supreme Court banned shrimp farming for 2 years to recover the lands, to make them to that. So there were, now again has regained. Then it's come to freshwater aquaculture is mainly the freshwater culture. See why they have classified mainly on the salinity. Freshwater culture is no salinity, maximum is 0.5, not more than that. Whereas for mariculture required 20 to 25 to 30 ppt salinity. So mainly because the environment based, we classify the aquaculture into different categories. Then I'll come down to freshwater aquaculture. Okay. So this is what mainly we concentrate on the freshwater aquaculture. Freshwater aquaculture, it is the mainstay of Indian aquaculture in terms of total quantity as well as share to the domestic fish basket. The freshwater aquaculture is contributing more than 52% to the total fish production of the country. And is mainly carp based. You may ask me what is carp? Carps are nothing but a group of fishes. We call it, like Indian major carps, indigenous carps, exotic carps. Exotic carps, they have been introduced from outside the other countries. So the carps are the main freshwater aquaculture mainly based carp based because 82% of the fish grown belong to this particular group called family called Cyclidae. So we also have got a classification like order, family, species, genera and species like that. But generally these are the group of fish called carps. So they are the major content, and more there are over 2 dozen species of fish technologies are already available, readily available. That's why they are very popular across the country. And now there are with the new technologies coming up, like invasive technologies. There is looking for species diversification because these carps are not good for these bioflocs, RRAs, they are not good because they require natural food for their growth. They cannot survive. They may survive, but they not grow exclusively on the because it depends on the biology. Because these are the filter feeders. That means the filter. You know how the fish breathes? Through gills. Yeah. So what they do is while filtering the water, they filter the nutrients, like the planktons. Okay, and they don't have stomach. That's the result. They can't store food. Whereas the catfishes, they have stomach, so they can store the food. ಟೈಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು ನೋಡೋದು
Sir, good time is sir. We have another 20 minutes.
20 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್
20
ಇಲ್ಲ
minutes.
ಗಂಗಾಧರ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕೂರ್ಸೋದು ಬೇಡ
ಇಲ್ಲ sir.
ಓಕೆ ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸಿ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಎನಿ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೊ ಐ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಗೋ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಫೀಡ್ಸ್ how it, what time, what should you give that, like that, biology, feeding habits, and the ecological shape it occupies. That's why ecological culture is the art species go to they occupy different stages in the pot. Okay, so more species diversification is required and research is going on. Now tilapia is coming, then Pangasius is coming, but Pangasius has not been a success. Catfish also came, it's not a success because the main problem is it all depends on how the market receives. If there is not a good demand in the market for that, okay, so it will not be a success. That's why always we say before starting any not only anything, you study what is happening in the market. Then only you go for selecting particular species for that. That's why the tilapias, then Pangasius came, they introduced from Vietnam in cage cultures. It survived for a few years and now it's collapsed. And now is the tilapia time. I don't know how long this will continue. But our carps, these are indigenous, they are tested and trusted. They have been there for last 50-60 years. They will be here for another 50-60 years also. Only thing, now there are a lot of research going on how to improve its performance. Okay, these are the pond-based systems. I tell you now. I told you the pond-based system and water-based systems. In the pond-based systems, we have mainly the ponds. Again, you have got three different systems like extensive system, semi-intensive system, intensive system. Extensive system is here the minimum intervention there. Only you just select some fish, put there and harvest. Your intervention is not there. So here what we call them is, we are not going to any apply manures, fertilizers, just put some fish and grow. We call it as a very low productivity, low investment and low risk. Here there is no risk and you want productivity, production you get also is quite low. Similarly, for a semi-intensive method, here there will be some management, not completely managed. Maybe apply some manure or give some feed, whatever available in the farmers. So here there will be some increase in the production, but not to the desired extent because it is a. But this is survivable because within the farmer is limitations. What he has at his resources. Instead of going for buying commercial feed, whatever he has got in his like rice bran, broken rice or maize or maize, he can feed to the fishes so that he doesn't have to spend more money on that. So whatever he gets is additional income because otherwise he won't have used it. Whatever normally we call it as in a farming system, recycling of biological waste. One by waste will come to the feed of other. For example, at the end of the culture, once you harvest in the summer, if you take out all the bottom soil, it is very rich in nutrients that can be used for your growing crops. So farmer can rotate, whatever the resources available. In the intensive, it is completely managed. I told you latest technology like RAS, BioAS. Here, right from the selection of species, pond preparations, right species, quality seed, use of high stocking density, feeding, water quality management, and fish health management. I mean, it's a very well managed pond. Here you can expect more production. And when you go for high intensive, there are chances of getting disease, bacterial disease, because whatever the excess feed which the fish not consume, it will go and accumulate at the bottom. Sometimes if you farmers we have seen in many places, they think if you give more feed, fish will grow more. So go on giving more feed, but fish will not consume after some quantity. So it becomes accumulate in the bottom and it pollutes the water quality. Okay, so these are water-based systems are, I told you, this is like reservoirs where you can put these cages. This is the covered cages in the open waters, or open water farming. Here you can be in the reservoirs and as well as the coastal waters. For here, again, what species required are different. Our carps are not really suitable for cage farming. So our carps are mainly for the pond, because they require natural food like what we call it the plankton, microorganisms. So for this, now there are few species they are trying. They are trying Pangasius, tilapia, and sometimes common carp also. Okay, but still they've been trying it. Is not a come to the really conclusion what the complete package has not come out. Suppose if you have got this size of the cake, how many seeds you should put, what is the feed you should give, what are the management practices you have to follow. Still we are not that stage. Is these are no? I told you these are ICU units, intensive care units. Once there is some problem in the current goes off, your whole system will go off. But that's why you call high capital, high intensity, highly profitable, but you have got a high risk. But again here, see this is like internal pond version. These are very ambiguous. For example, this IPRS is called the inner pond raceway system, based on the raceway system in US. If a minimum 1 acre cost of construction will be around 1.3 to 1.5 crores. But here, best is out of 1 acre, only 20% is used for fish. 80% is used called as the toilet area. So that is treated and recirculated like that. Then the RAS and bioflocs, aquaponics, these are some of the system latest developed technologies. And the government of India also is promoting a few technologies like RAS and bioflog through, it's called PMMSY, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Samshodhana Yojana. They are investing in a huge amount. I don't know how much results is going to give, that is different, but it, there are more than 20,000 crores is being invested on this farming, aquaculture. Okay, for this what we need is, what we need a support system, what we need for that aquaculture to become a successful entrepreneurship. What you need is a good seed, good breed, you need a good quality breed. Like a poultry, you have broiler, egg layer, and agriculture also you have got different varieties like that. Here also we need a good breed and quality seed of that particular breed and quality feed at affordable cost, then good environment and health management and then good market. And in case of excess, there is excess production, there should be a system for absorbing this whatever the extra market gets through post harvesting and value addition. For this also a lot of importance is being given. The only thing is fresh water right now is going as a fresh fish. You don't see anything waste is there. But there are still trying research is going on CFTRI, there is a Central Institute of Fishery Technology exclusively for developing the fish related products in Kochi. So they are developing many techniques and value additions, so still going on. Then these are some of the species for mariculture. They have been trying this because the main problem is captive breeding of this particular species is quite difficult. Because you cannot try to depend on the natural seed collected from nature to become aquaculture to be successful. So now they are at CM, there is an institute called Central Marine Fish Research Institute, CMFR in Kochi. They are trying to develop breeding technologies for this marine species. And these are this is become, it's called lattice calcifer, it's called basa fish. This is popular in the market also, especially the hotels, what you get is called basa fish. It's a bracket water fish, but can be grown in fresh water also. And this is species developed by another institute called Central Institute of Brackish Water Aquaculture in Chennai. So they are the main mandates, because I told you, there are 8 research institutes, central institutes, with a definite mandate for conducting research and extension activities in that particular area. Now this is the string. Okay. This is parts I was telling these are important aquaculture breeds commonly used. These are the 6 species normally used in freshwater aquaculture, especially for a pond-based aquaculture throughout the country. They are actually mainly native of the 3 main, it's called Gangetic cows because most of them are native of the river Ganges. And later they have been introduced to different parts of the country. Even now they call the Ganges carps only. There's Katla, Rohu, Mrigal, then common carp, silver carp and grass carp. These 3 are the exotic carps. They were introduced from China and silver carp and grass carp from China and common carp from Hungary and Germany. There were 2-3 strains are there. And there is a separate genetically improved species for what we do now, like in the poultry breeding, we do develop this species with a particular tribe. For example, this Rohu, Jayanti Rohu, developed by Central Institute of Aquaculture. So their main, I don't know how many, because this breeding is a very technical. You produce this particular tribe because Gandhadhar is there. So you develop a particular. They developed it for only increased growth. Here, Namun Kamakap, it was developed by me earlier at Yasagata and Bangalore. It took us about 10 years to develop this particular variety. We got 6 different germplasm from different countries. It went for breeding program. And finally, after 10 years of research, we arrived at this called Namun Kamakap. At here only, Bangalore and Yasagata. We got our research station in Yasagata and also in Bangalore. Probably we will be taking one day there, I think. Okay. So here we address 2 issues. One for late maturity, another for faster growth. Late maturity because this fish, earliest time, what I showed you the previous day in Kamakap, it starts breeding in the ponds at the age of 6 months. And that causes prolific breeding. It adds more number to the pond, where the number increases and it affects the growth. So to avoid that, we selected for a late breeding. That means now it matures only after 15 months. By that, normally our growing period is about 8 to 10 months maximum. Even sometimes 6 to 8 months, depending on the type of culture you do, what size you want to harvest. Because even harvesting also, there is no particular size. You will have to harvest what the demand there. If there is demand for half a kg, you harvest half kg. Why should you grow up to 1 kg? So like that, now farmers are also becoming very innovative. They do partial harvesting. If there is a demand for small fish, harvest them, sell them, then allow the fish to grow for bigger size. So there are different methods are also there. Okay. And these are some of the species I told you, this catfish, morels, and this is the bungaceous. These are the, morel is a very, this is got a high medicinal value, but all these are carnivorous fishes. That's the problem. Raising them, maintaining them is not that easy, like carps. They are all carnivorous, they require natural live food for them. Okay, I'll not go into the details because I told you the aquaculture should be supported by a good quality seed. What is a good quality seed in terms of the genetic makeup? Then when you go and look at the seed in a farm, how you identify a quality seed is, one is based on the information from the hatchery owner, how do they breed the fish. Then is you can see the fish are uniform in size, healthy, without any internal. These are anybody can identify. You don't require any expertise for them. That means these are all the signs of a good quality seed. And also these are the latest issues Because you cannot, if you go to agriculture, only certified seed should be used. There is a seed certificate agency. Otherwise, what happens if farmer gets a seed from somewhere else, if he doesn't get a good result, who has to blame? Because he will be at a loss. So these are some of the issues for certification, why you not go for certification, and also we should raise awareness among the farmers. Before buying the seed, where should they buy seed? How should they look for the quality seed? Because all your, there is a saying, what you harvest, what you grow. What you seed, so is what you harvest. If you use bad quality seed, you cannot expect a good production. So naturally, seed is the most prime input for any, not only fish, anywhere. If your seed quality is not good, you cannot get a better production. So these are the, okay, so these are how the certification is being done. Just run through the slides. They may not be much interested in this. Okay, quality breed certification. How the development, aquaculture has developed right from just stocking the fish into this level, like certificate, good quality, and there's awareness among the farmers also. Okay, so now coming to the feed, normally we have a format. Farmer can use feed whatever available with him, like waste grains, this broken rice, broken maize, or whatever comes out of cleaning then, and the commercial feeds are also available now, but commercial feeds are almost double the rate of the farm made feeds. Okay, that's what are the major constraints in aquaculture. This is some of the good quality seed of suitable breeds, just like aquaculture system I told you, this is lack of them. Then quality feed for different cultures, systems, and there are no regulations for hatcheries and the seed growers. That's the problem. There is nobody to certify if there's good quality seed or not. So this is, I think now government also is taking up how can they do is like bring regulation to the hatcheries. But there is a regulation to shrimp hatchery because it's an export market, commercial value. Every hatchery has to get a certificate from there is a called the MPEDA, Marine Products Development Authority. They will certify whether this hatchery is following all the protocols for seed production like that. But still we are not coming to the, okay, I think this already, okay, foresight or way ahead. I think in the future water is going to be the key, not the land. Because everybody look at that. There is an opportunity for diversified, I think for seafood as well as the pond food. And aquaculture from 3 ecosystems, there is good demand for this. With seed, feed health and market strategy emerging as a key driving forces, technology reinforcement on a continuous basis is the key. Okay, coming to just two, it's about the relation between aquaculture and the present. Because I didn't get the time to prepare the slide on this. On the present theme of the present seminar, application of ICT in aquaculture. Okay, where all you can apply. I think Raghavendra is going to talk more about that application. There are many ways you can apply, right from estimating the biomass. You can estimate the biomass through sensors, total number, and also what we have suggested them was, there's a major problem in the hatcheries for grading the seed. Because when a farmer goes to hatchery, he asks the fingerlings. Fingerlings is a different size, but they mix up and give. But once they give that mixed seed, farmer will not get the same growth because there are different sizes. So I think this is the area they can look for coming up with a technology for grading the seed, fish seed in the hatcheries. Because we have got 3 major hatcheries in Karnataka. One in the VR project, one on TB Dam, and another in Tamil. These are 3 major fish seed production centers meeting the demand of fish seed state. So I think this is the one area. Then another area is how the SCT can help in estimating the biomass and the seed grading, And I think other some issues also we took, like water quality management. If they say I told you in Scotland, they can sit, they have got a company developed a software. He can just look at that each pond he can monitor, each tank. It is in the closed area, of course. Matter. Okay, tank number 1. Okay, there is some problem, water color changed, water quality. Another problem. And also they have not developed smart feeding technology. Depending on the fish, because they have already assessed so well, that software, it's in a okay, the fish requires the feed. So automatically that time, that particular quantity of feed is automatically delivered. And it is all connected. So they have advanced so much, but still we are in the very beginning stage. But definitely, once the system changes, we also definitely we have got the required skill and ability to do it. I think we should be able to do it in a near future. Okay, with this one, I think I'll conclude my talk. Thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you. Hope I have not exceeded my time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for the wonderful and insightful session. If anyone has any questions, sir will gonna address it.
ಯಾರಿಗಾರ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
So what is the cost efficiency in drying fish and the fresh fishes?
What do you mean by cost efficiency?
Like how it varies in the commercial ways?
No, actually, dry fish is much cheaper
Much cheaper.
because the investment is less, and is mainly for dry fish. Okay, ಕೆಲಸತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಡ್ರೈ ಫಿಶ್ ಆದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸೈಜ್, ಹೋಲ್ ಫಿಶ್ ಇಸ್ ಡ್ರೈ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. It mainly go for the villages and the with a small income group, which is consumed as a whole fish, and there are some hygienic issues there because they sun dry it on the beaches. So they say there are some hygienic issues also. So but now it is improved. Wait, what is the next question you asked? Cost, sun drying and dry fish and?
Dry fish and now fresh fish.
No, fresh fish is good. This is the fish quality because the bigger fishes you cannot dry. The moisture content is very high. So all dry fish drying technology mainly for the small fishes, where you can completely dry as a whole and consume as a whole fish. And they are, I told you, it might be cheaper. But the fresh fish is a good quality because compared to the dry fish. The consumption, because it depends on your taste also. Demands most on how you feed. Because of the way you consume, see, even the way we consume is different. See, most of it is our eating most of it is go for curry, and our carbs are very good for making curry, but it's not good for making fillets or fry because of those small, we call pin bones. But that's why tilapia and the marine fishes, they are very good for going for this frying or making fillets. And some of the fish, like for example in Kerala, Karamiyanu they call Aeropress retenses. The whole fish is red. So it all depends on the consumer. It's all consumer driven. So that's why I said our 90% is wet market. There is a good demand for the fresh fish. That's why always fish comes within 2-3 days it reaches different parts of the country. They put it in the ice, still is good. So waste, there is a good demand for still fresh fish.
So, you said you will extend the maturity of the fish to 15 months or so. So if it is extended, and if you take out the fish by 6 or 8 months, how will you get seeds for further?
No, that's why you have to breed them separately, captive breeding. You cannot breed in the pond. So breeding should be and seed production should be a separate activity. Then you stock them. See, why I said a prolific bed? The reason why I tell you, because normally one season is about 8 to 10 months. Okay, this particular fish, especially males, mature much earlier than even 3 to 4 months, and by 6 months females are estimated, and they are naturally breed. Once they breed and produce, what happens? Suppose, say one pond size is there. We have to only 100 fish, but it produces and add more fish to in the same system. Instead of 100, they become 200, and that means there will be a competition for space and competition for food, and it affects the growth. So actually, what we are trying to do is, wherever you grow, you should not grow any fish which can breed in the pond. Select such fish. We should not multiply in the.
So breeding is taken by
Breeding is a separate activity. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Now I request our coordinator CG Raghavendra sir to kindly present a token of appreciation.
Thank you, sir, for
We'll now begin our next technical session. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. YB Basavaraju, Principal Scientist, ACAR, Central Institute of Freshwater Aquaculture, Regional Research Center, Bangalore. Before we begin, I would like to share a brief introduction of our speaker. Dr. YB Basavaraju holds an MSc and PhD from Bangalore University and completed his postdoctoral research and Wageningen University in the Netherlands. He has published over 90 research